Greetings. This is Arvette McLean of Speak, the Universe Listens.
We cherish that. We love that particular piece of it because it
teach people like, hey, it's okay, change.
New ways to view age-old challenges. Change your thoughts, change your life. Step into the bigness of you.
Welcome to today's episode of Speak, the Universe Listens. And today's topic is how to get things done when you don't feel like doing it. And I have Teron joining me, Rodney, and Steven. How y'all doing? Good. So, how to get things done when you don't feel like it? I know we've all come across that situation.
Man. I have. I would say, if anything, sometimes you get yourself into a space as to where it's like, you need to get something done, and you're just sitting on it. And for me, I used to always find an excuse, and I didn't realize, and I wasn't doing it intentionally, but I used to always find an excuse as like, my car. I have to go get the oil change in the car. You know what? Alright, I'm gonna wait till next time I get paid. Next time I get paid, boom, I got something else that I gotta take care of. And it's like, it just keep going on, I put it off. But for the most part, just realizing that if I just go ahead and just do what I need to do at that time, and then while I'm thinking about it, then it's like, I save myself the trouble. Because later on down the road, I might not, my story may change. So, yeah, that's one thing I would tell anybody. If you just do it. Just take the action, just do it.
And that's almost what just now happened, right? Because we were like, okay,
Right.
It's getting late. We don't feel like we're
Right.
doing it. Like, we just go ahead and do it.
So it's actually interesting what you say, Stephen, because I actually think the exact opposite. And
Really?
maybe this is also me procrastinating. But my mindset is usually, I don't want to do anything until I feel so moved to do it. So until I feel moved to do it, I'm just not going to do it. Like, I don't see it as me putting it off. I see it as, well, there's something, I'm feeling something that's saying, hey, don't do that right now.
Right.
So I just don't do it then. Like, I know it's going to get done. And I also so in my mind, I never see it as procrastination because one, I know it's going to get done. And then two, I'm telling myself not to do it for a reason. So I just wait until like I feel moved in that moment. Like something as simple as, I remember in college, writing papers used to be like a big thing. And every college student will tell you, oh, I work better under pressure. That's every college student favorite like saying, or everybody's favorite saying actually, I work better under pressure. I never felt like I worked better under pressure. I just felt like, well, I don't feel like doing it yet. And so if I were to go do it now and I don't feel like doing it, I'm not going to give it the best efforts, nor is it going to be the best result. Whereas if I wait until like I actually want to do it, everything will just be better from it. And so that's always been my mindset in terms of doing things that I don't really want to do. I would like to tell y'all I sit back and I think, well, why don't you really want to do it? But I don't even get that deep. I don't want to do it, I just don't do it in that moment.
I think with procrastination, there's so many different levels to it, Like, you could be procrastinating on making a change in your life. And that could be coming from fear, or sometimes you procrastinate because you feel a lack of something. So I think it's like different, variables of procrastination.
like what you said with that. You made me think like I used to not only when it comes to changing my life, I used to not only find excuses, right, but it was also more of like still hanging on to the old and knowing that I'm trying to transition into the new, but moving into the new was foreign territory to me. And the old, what I was trying to leave from, that was like the comfort zone for me. So I was trying to escape the comfort zone to get uncomfortable, just to level myself up. But it was hard to split it.
Yeah. You can go. I just think that that's very profound too. The idea of, well, I need to get uncomfortable.
Right.
So moving out of comfort to get uncomfortable, I find that very interesting. And I think that 9 times out of 10, that usually is the case for procrastination. It's a simple, well, this feels more comfortable here, so I'm going to stay here where I know what it is,
Right.
versus going to function in a world of what you see as uncertainty. But what I would say to tell yourself is, this is uncertain because you're taking this same person and you're moving it here. So it's no uncertainty, like, there is no negative thoughts that could come from it because you're controlling every situation.
And I hear that a lot. That's one of those things you see on Facebook and stuff like that all the time where you gotta move from comfortable. Like if you're not uncomfortable, then you're not growing and, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm almost more aligned with Teron in terms of, like if you don't feel like doing it, now's not the time to do it. Now, I don't believe that if you don't feel like doing it, now's not the time to do it and don't ever do it.
Right.
But I do believe that if you don't feel like doing it, then until you come into alignment with what the thing is, then there's nothing to be done. And so a lot of times what we'll do is, like if I could say that to you, like, if you don't feel like doing it, don't do it. But then nothing's gonna get done. So you have to actively bring yourself into alignment. So actively get in a space where you love whatever it is that you to do, or you can't wait to do whatever it is you to do. So like in your imagination, you're remembering like, okay, why do I need to do this in the first place? Is it because I don't want my car to blow up? Or, you know, because I want to level up or whatever the situation is. Why is it that you want this thing? And feel into that, and then, you know, ideals and stuff will flow to you, you know, and then you get excited enough to be motivated to do it. So that's like, for me, I always feel like if I'm not feeling love while I'm doing it, then I'm not gonna do it. So I don't force myself anymore. I used to be great at forcing myself to do stuff. But not anymore. Like now, I'm like, okay, if I'm not feeling love while I'm doing it, then I'm not gonna do it. But that can't be the end of it. I mean, I guess it could be, but I don't let that be the end of it. I'll be like, okay, well, what is it that I really want? And I focus my energy on what do I want from that, and then ideals will flow to me of how to do this in a way that is loving and fun and exciting for me. And so I am not in agreement with things have to be uncomfortable in order for you to make progress. Like, what's the progress that I want to make? And then see myself there, just, you know, already having fun with it and enjoying it and being in that space. And then it's like like for me, it's like magic. Like I just magically float to that space. But what's happening is whatever insights and inspiration I'm getting is coming through in such a way that to get from here to here is fun. And so I'm not even realizing that I'm really doing anything. And you know, and the feedback that I often get, like people always tell me, I know you're working hard, I know you're busy, I know that was hard work, and I know, and I'm like, no, it really wasn't. It wasn't hard at all.
Let me ask y'all this. Does accountability take a play in procrastination? like having accountability for what you're doing?
In a sense, I would say yeah.
Like, you know how you got like you might have a friend that say, yeah, I want to do this and I want to start this business or whatever, and you like, hey, where you at with it? Like, you kind of holding them accountable to what they said they wanted to do.
In that view, yeah, because I can relate to that. I would say, yeah, I mean, holding them accountable for what it is that they want to do. But the reason why I will be doing that is because I want to see them, you know, elevate themselves. I want them to know that they can do it. But I think just by me holding them accountable, that will probably move them from being stuck to like, all right, let me get going. Let me start, you know, even though they probably wanted to do it, but they just, some people need a push, and some people just, like Tamar said, when the time is right, they'll just go ahead and.
Well, I'm saying more so with yourself, like holding yourself accountable from procrastinating.
Holding yourself accountable.
Yeah, I think to a certain extent. I think the accountability isn't in making sure the task is done. The accountability that I find myself wanting to hold myself to is making sure I still want to do this. Because, again, I always feel like whatever needs to be done is going to get done. Like, there are a million different ways to do everything, so it's going to get done. But do I still want to do it? Do I want to do it in the way that I was planning on doing it? And so sometimes it may look like procrastination, but it's not procrastination, it's realignment, like Anavé said. It's I need to step back and really figure out, like, all right, well, I thought I wanted this, but as I start going down this route, I'm not having fun doing it. So I'm stepping back from that, but it's going to look like it looked like I typed in 3 sentences on this paper and then I said, no, I'm done. But it's like, in reality, no, I need to make sure that this is the topic I still want to do. Because otherwise, I can write, anybody can write 1,000 words of nothing. It's only successful when you actually want to do it. So you could do something 1,000,000 times and have the same result. But then you do it one time and you actually want to do it and it just feels successful. It's that ideal of like feeling like, oh, I actually did it this time. Instead of it was just I needed to do it or it was a routine.
Yeah, and you know, I'm really saying the same thing I just said, but I really was that person that I forced things. I don't care how much I didn't feel like doing it. It was gonna get done. I was gonna force it. But during that time, even though I was very successful at completing tasks and getting things done, I was not successful with creating joy in my life. And now that I flipped it, and I'm like, I'm only doing it if I'm loving it. And sometimes there are things that, you know, I might feel like, okay, this has to happen. I don't feel like it, but it's got to happen. Then I would just get myself to a place where I'm going to love it, you know. And like I said, then ideals come in that makes it fun for me.
In a sense, though, with Teron, like, just thinking about what you were saying, doing it when you feel like you're ready. I had a lot of times in some situations where I didn't move until I was ready to move. Feel like I wasn't ready to move. And then what you were saying, sometimes you are in a position as to where it's a time on something. And so if you're sitting back, then it's like, all right, so what we gonna do now? You know, you got about a certain amount of time to get this done. So I look at it like, for me, the best way to move out of procrastination is 2 ways, like you said. One is when you're ready to, and then if you want a time, then it's more like, okay, what's best? Is it best that we get going now, or is it best that we get going, you know, right at what you were saying with the deadline, you know? When college students, they perform better when they're under pressure, right? So for me, I was just more of when I was ready, and then also I was uncomfortable, but that uncomfortable turned into something that I wanted to do after a while. It was like, well, okay, all right, I'm cool now. Like, I got this now.
But isn't it a fine line between I'm gonna do something when I'm ready, or I'm just plain scared to do it, or procrastinating?
Right, so that's kind of what I was trying to say, like, I don't even know if it's a fine line. Like, you just gotta be clear, because if you're just saying, I'm gonna do it when I'm ready, or I'm gonna do it when I feel like it, that's different from saying, I'm gonna get myself in alignment. I'm bringing
Right.
myself into alignment so that the best result will happen. Like, if you just like, I don't feel like it, I'll wait until I feel like it. But you're still not putting no energy towards it. Like, the energy of thinking is a very powerful energy. The energy of imagining is more powerful than the energy of movement. So if I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, I know I want to, it can be as simple as getting my car serviced, or what, I know I want to get my car serviced or whatever, but I don't feel like doing that. Then I'm still needing to put the mental energy into it, or whatever, in terms of, just thinking about, okay, if my car is serviced, I know once it's serviced, I know I'm gonna feel good, I'm gonna feel comfortable, whatever, and just start imagining that situation. Now, from that place of imagination, most likely my husband gonna walk through the door and be like, you want me to take your car? I'll be like, sure. but what I'm saying is, it'll happen, it'll get done in an easy, effortless way, versus you be like, man, I gotta put on my shirt.
Yeah.
Now I gotta put on my shoes. Now I gotta tie my shoes. Now I gotta find my key. But I'm being silly, but like, when it's something that you don't feel like doing and you make yourself do it anyway, it's like, it just seems like 1,000 steps to get it done, and it's just hard. And the thing about, the whole concept, like, we think of, we gotta struggle. If we don't struggle, then we're not gonna grow. And, just this whole concept that we have of how life is supposed to be hard, and, you gotta get uncomfortable. It's fine, but what you have to realize is, whatever energy you're putting out, it's going through your body. So if I'm forcing myself to do this thing that I don't want to do, I'm pushing all of this negative energy through my body. Every cell in my body is like, oh, and just imagine how that's affecting your physical. And so no matter what it is you're thinking about, you want to find ways to make it beautiful, so that when it comes into your body, your cells are like, yes. And it just does a whole different thing with your health, with just how you live your life every day, just how you feel about life every day, and the things that you look at. So it's just little things like like we're saying with the car. If you just like, I don't feel like, or now I gotta go pick her up, and then she gonna want to stop and go buy some cigarettes, or
Right.
If you're thinking about it like that, it's causing a negative. The word negative is not the appropriate word, but it's causing an effect on you that you may not want. In other words.
Yeah, got a funny example for y'all. So part of my job is to post on social media. Now, what most people don't know is I actually hate like social media in terms of like posting or whatever, because it's just, I've always found it tedious. And so I remember we had a meeting one day, and it was like, hey, well, Teron, can you handle the social media? And I was like, I don't really want to, but I guess I can. And they were like, well, you do such a great job at it, and the posts get more like likes and shares when you do it than when anybody else has ever done it. But my mindset was always, I just hate posting though. So the way I try to remove that was, I started thinking about things I wanted to post. And so it was like, all right, well, if I don't like posting, let me think about why the things I do like that come from posting on social media. I was like, well, I want more kids at school. I want this, I want that. And I don't have to post this or that. I could post things that I like. And so I started making the task into what I liked. And it was just like what you said earlier of, once you get to a certain place, getting from A to B, you don't even realize you're getting from A to B because you've loved doing it. So it's like once I got in that place of, all right, this is what I want to do and this is what I'm enjoying doing, then it became a lot easier and the post started rolling out a lot more. That, and I also think you said another thing too, again, piggybacking on the A to B, making it so magical. I often think about every time you call me, you go like, hey, are you busy? I'm always never busy. Even though like I'm doing things, but in my mind I'm never processing as busy because whatever I'm doing in that moment, I'm enjoying doing. And also answering this phone and helping you, I'm gonna enjoy doing this as well. But if I would have come with like an adverse like reaction, like, oh, here she go calling.
She won't down.
And of course it would like whatever I needed to work on would probably take longer to do. It would be a bunch of negative things happening around me, a negative for lack of a term, and a bunch of other things that just weren't going in the way I would want it to go, all because my thought process behind it was, I don't want to do none of this in the first place.
That's funny because I kind of already said this, I think last week I was saying that, but I, like certain times, let's say for example, I was going on this bike ride with a group. And so I like going on bike rides and I don't mind going with groups. But the issue that I typically have is that like they might say, you know, let's start at 7:30, but then it don't start till 8. But I'm there at 7:30. You know, and then you get started and, you know, you might get a few miles and somebody's going to be like, I got to go to the bathroom. So the whole group got to stop and wait for somebody to go to the bathroom. And so as soon as that person comes back, somebody else will be like, oh, I think I need to go too. Then they'll go. And then you be like, and then you got to wait. And then when that person come back, then somebody, and I'm like, why don't y'all all go at the same time? So the point is like, I would typically get irritated just by stuff like that, right? That's my MO. Like I get irritated if things don't happen on time. So I've been working on all of that or whatever. And so I had changed it to, okay, I already know this is how it's gonna go. So I'm not gonna get irritated about it, right? And so typically I would just go like, okay, I knew this was gonna happen, so okay, just roll with it and don't allow myself to be irritated. But I just realized that I don't even have to do that. I can really say, I'm gonna love this experience. And it makes me attuned to a whole different set of things. And so like then going on the bike ride, even though all that same stuff is happening, I've already decided I'm gonna love it. And because of that, it ends up being a beautiful experience. And so that's kind of similar to what we're kind of saying about if it's something you don't feel like doing, you can just change your thinking on it and just decide, I'm gonna love it. And then things that you love will pop in and it will transform the experience.
I had to do that like with the gym, you know. Now I like going to the gym, but it'd be some days as to where if I don't go in the morning, I know I'm gonna have to go in the evening time. So depending on how my work day is, if I finish late, now my thought process is like, dang, I gotta go to the gym. Dang, you know, I am hungry though. Dang, let me go get me something to eat. Get something to eat. Look at the time. Like, dang, man, I go home, give me some sleep. I do it in the morning time. So, you know, when I think about that, it just makes me think like, okay, I put myself in the space as to where I like going, I want to go. And that way, when I'm in that space, I feel like, okay, I don't care what time it is. It can be 12 o'clock, you know, 10 o'clock. I'm going. I'm determined to go. You know. So yeah, if I'm in if you're in the space of wanting to do it, but yet you love what you're doing. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, any closing comments on that?
Take your time, and also while you're taking time, be aligning yourself. Is what I would say. I took from this.
Yes, me too. All right, guys. When there's something that you just really don't feel like doing, just find ways to get in alignment with yourself. Find ways to love it. Look for the beauty in it. And ideas will just start popping in, and it'll be ways that you can have a good time while you're doing exactly what it is that you don't feel like doing. But also like something Teron said that I don't think we expounded upon enough is it may be a situation where the energy has shifted. Like you thought that's what you wanted to do, but once you start taking a look at it, it's like, well, maybe I don't want to do that anymore. And there's nothing wrong with that. All right, something to think about. So until next time, we'll talk to you later. This is Arvette.
This is Steve.
Just right.
It's wrong.